Eddie, the suit. You gotta take it off.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Oh boy, yeah. How'd that get in there?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I just got done watching Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And with this sequel for Venom, we follow Eddie Brock, who's continuing to live his life trying to deal with the fact he has a symbiote in him, while at the same time trying to repair his career as a journalist by telling the life story of Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage, who does get on the loose. That's all pretty much it without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review, and man, do we have spoilers to talk about after the movie comes out, because still got the chills. Now, when it came to the idea of a solo Venom movie, I had always been against the idea just because I could never see it working, especially when they came out with the 2018 version and they didn't want to have Spider-Man as part of Venom's origin. It's like, dude's kind of essential for that. But they obviously managed to pull it off, making a very successful movie, one that I actually did not love. I won't go so far as to say it's a bad movie. I had an okay time with it, but at the end of the day, it just really wasn't my cup of tea and what I expected from a solo Venom movie. But of course, with the ending tease of that last movie and then promising Carnage for the sequel, ooh, the 12-year-old in me was going wild, because I remember being a movie fan back in the early days of the internet where you would scrounge around looking for movie news and you would see fan-made posters of Carnage with Jim Carrey's face. And every Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan will tell you of that era where they really thought Spider-Man 4 would be about Spider-Man versus Carnage. All these years later, he's finally on the big screen. I had to be there for it, and now having seen the movie, yeah, I do like this one way better than the first one. One of the things that helped me get into the groove of this second Venom movie is that they were embracing the full cheese and corniness of the first. Because although you have the character of Carnage in here and you would expect things to get severely dark, Venom Let There Be Carnage actually cranks up the corniness, and if you were someone who just did not enjoy the scenes of Eddie Brock jumping into a lobster tank, then I got some bad news for you, because the entirety of this movie is like that times 10. And although I didn't like that in the first movie, for this one, it made it a lot more entertaining because they were very self-aware and knew exactly what they were doing, especially when it came to the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom in this movie, because it really is a film about them. The relationship between Eddie and Venom is really treated like an odd couple, a pair of roommates that can't just seem to get along, but deep down inside they do love each other. It was an interesting thing to have happen in the movie for sure, but I actually found myself invested into it. I also did love the shorter runtime this time around. While I know there was a lot of fans going crazy and freaking out that this was one of the shortest Marvel movies ever made, it works in the favor of this film because this is just a silly, entertaining film where you're meant to have fun, but man, does this film go full throttle. Like in the first 10 minutes, so much happens that you really feel like someone must be hitting the fast forward button on this movie because it's just moving rapidly. And that's a double-edged sword right there, because you could go ahead, have a good time, laugh, and then go on your way home, while other people were really wanting to spend time with the character of Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, hoping to really get into the mindset of Carnage and this sadistic man going after Venom and what their feud would be like when, man, they really rush it. But on the subject of that, the main reason I was hyped for this film is Carnage. And does Carnage deliver? Oh yeah, he does. Woody Harrelson absolutely eats it up as Cletus Cassidy in this movie, portraying a very dark, sadistic killer. And the movie even tries to do a nice job of telling you a bit of his backstory using some creative animation. But the payoff as a fan that you get to see Carnage go full crazy, even though this isn't rated R, they get away with a lot with this PG-13. And even just the visuals on Carnage, the way he looks on screen when he's fighting, when he's attacking, is miles better than the symbiote Venom fought in his first movie, where that was just a bunch of vomit CGI thrown at the screen where you couldn't even really tell what was going on. They so improved the fights between two symbiotes in this movie, because that's where I knew this movie was not going to fail. Andy Serkis, the director, having a background in visual effects and mocap work, knew exactly what he was doing with Venom Let There Be Carnage. And even though you technically only get one fight between Venom and Carnage in this movie, boy, do they really stretch it out to the point that you're enjoying every single minute of it, where I was just left with a giant smile on my face, telling myself in the back of my mind, I can't believe I'm watching Venom and Carnage fight each other right now. And as weird as it is to say, Venom Let There Be Carnage really embraces the fact that they come from a comic book, even with the way they handle some of the origin stories to supporting characters in this film and how they're connected. Like you have the police officer that's wanting to work alongside Eddie Brock to catch Carnage, and Carnage's connection to this other villain introduced into the film, Shriek, all was handled in a way that was so easy to digest and just go through with the story. Now obviously at this point you would think I absolutely love the movie and it's one of the best comic book movies I've seen in a long time. you'd be wrong there. Bring me to some of my negatives in this movie. Even though I said I enjoyed Venom Let There Be Carnage a lot more than I did the first Venom movie, I'm still just not there on fully being sold or loving this Venom universe that Sony's creating. Like, I really do dig what Tom Hardy and Eddie Brock are doing with the character, and even the way Venom looks on screen and when he's fighting and whatnot, but just this real silly tone in the film is what kind of brings it down for me, because with the cartoonish tone they set up throughout the movie that is good for a few laughs here and there and an entertaining time, with a tone like that, I never really feel the suspense or the worry for a lot of the characters on screen, because I'm like, they're not just going to turn the dime and kill this person or kill that person. Everything's pretty much going to be ended off with a happy little bow, and this slapstick happy universe will continue on. That's just always going to be the little annoying voice in the back of my mind when I watch these Venom movies, is knowing that this character could be a lot more than just reduced to a few silly jokes and being forced to be this anti-hero because he's the main character of this series, and we can't have him be a complete bad guy. The way I look at Venom Let There Be Carnage, it's basically a fast food movie. Nothing's wrong with fast food, you know I eat tons of it. So I think you'll for sure see a lot of people enjoying this movie and being really entertained with it, but if you're someone who just did not like that first Venom movie and can't flip the switch to realize that they're just trying to have a silly goose time, you're not gonna have a silly goose time in the theater and end up hating this movie. So for Venom Let There Be Carnage, I am gonna give action 3.5 stars. While the fight scene between Cletus Cassidy and Venom is spectacular to look at along with those amazing visuals, it is only one fight between them and the action is a bit spread out for such a short movie. Commenting the film, I'll give it 2.5 stars. It definitely has a much more silly cartoon tone than the first film. A lot of the stuff in here will get you laughing, but a good chunk of the time they were using jokes to go ahead and hold back the movie from more serious moments. Drama in the film, I'll give it 3 stars here. While it's a very fast-paced story where everything is happening rapid and quick to the point you don't even get to enjoy some of these characters on screen because they come and go kind of quickly, it was still digestible, easy to enjoy, and you understood all the motives going on, and I kind of have to applaud that. Heart in the movie, I'll give it 1.5 stars. I think if you have a real youngling, maybe they'll get scared of the character of Carnage and some of the killing he does throughout this movie, because they do try to get away with some stuff, but it's still a PG-13 movie and a lot of it is censored. And suspense to the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Like I said, with the cartoony and silly tone that they throw out here, I never really feel the suspense for Eddie Brock or some of his supporting characters, because I know with what they've set up in this world, everything will just end up happy daisy by the end of it. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a C-. For Venom Let There Be Carnage, I think it's a movie that's still definitely worth watching in theaters. Like I mentioned, even though I'm not completely in love with this Venom universe that Sony has created, it was still a fun, entertaining time where I wasn't bored at all, amazed with the action scenes, and left with such a high after that post-credit scene, which there is only one, guys, so don't even stay to all the end of the credits unless you want to hear that Eminem song, which is kind of dope. And on that subject, you watching this video means YouTube is going to try to recommend to you other Venom videos, and idiots out there have already recorded and spoiled the post-credit scene, so if you want to know nothing, after you watch this review, don't even get on YouTube until you watch the movie, because they will recommend to you the post-credit scene, and that thumbnail will probably ruin it for you. But after you have seen the movie, come back here on the channel, because we will be talking full spoilers and what the implications are of what the hell is happening here. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.